We're here to teach you about sheltered instruction and why you should use it in your classroom. A common goal of teaching is to level the playing field so all students have equal opportunities to succeed. Sheltered instruction is a method of teaching that can provide equal opportunities. This method introduces many strategies that teachers can utilize in order to meet the needs of all of their students. This video shows different needs of students and that sheltered instruction could be used.
Hey, are we all in the same English course?
Yeah, how's it going?
Not bad, except I sometimes have trouble with my grammar, isn't it? I mean, sometimes I'm perfect, but other times I don't, won't they?
See, I'm all right with my grammar. My problem is spelling. I can't spell to save my loaf.
Yeah.
Yeah, after relying to spell chalk on my computer.
Well, look at it this way. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't eat it too, you know what I'm saying?
No, not really.
Oh, I think that she sometimes has trouble mixing metaphors, aren't she?
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm always crying over spilled chickens before they're hatched. It's all right for you all. I've got a very small vocabulary.
What's that like?
It's all right for you all. I've got a very small vocabulary.
That's okay. I have problems with my emphasis.
Your emphasis?
Yes, my emphasis on different parts of the sentences. In my job, that can cause a lot of awkwardness.
Sheltered instruction is a method of teaching that involves a scope and sequence of a normal curriculum, rather than slimming down or using an alternative curriculum for CLD students. This method helps teachers break down the curriculum to differentiate instruction for all learners. Students are typically taught through a variety of strategies that include hands-on activities, cooperative learning, vocabulary games, and visuals. There are plenty of myths to go along with sheltered instruction. Some educators believe that sheltered instruction can only be used in a self-contained English language learning class. Some believe that sheltered instruction is only used with students who are close to English proficiency. Some educators may believe that sheltered instruction is not best practice. However, high-quality education can come from sheltered instruction. One variation of sheltered instruction is called specially designed academic instruction in English. This method calls for students whose language acquisition is at an intermediate or advanced level. This method focuses on cooperative learning, language and social affective goals, thematic units that are taught through scaffolding, and a variety of assessment methods. However, for the purposes of including all culturally and linguistic diverse students at all levels of language acquisition in sheltered instruction, we are going to focus on the Sheltered Instruction Observation Protocol, or as we'll refer to it, SIOP. SIOP is the most researched and highest quality variation of sheltered instruction. This model is field tested by teachers to identify effective practices. This model provides well-developed lessons that teachers can incorporate to level the playing field. These lessons accommodate and challenge students. The SIOP model follows three critical aspects that we'll dive into to show you why SIOP is the best teaching method for your school. These critical aspects include preparation, instruction, and review and assessment. The preparation aspect asks teachers to write two objectives, content and language objectives. The content objective drives instruction. This should be posted and referred to regularly. This is the academic goal of the lesson. The language objective helps students focus on acquiring academic language needed in order to understand the content objective. The preparation aspect also asks teachers to develop content concepts that are related to the current theme or chapter. These concepts can be tied back to the students' educational backgrounds. For CLD students, this asks teachers to be aware of their current knowledge or academic level and to not underestimate their educational background. The preparation aspect also asks teachers to gather high-quality supplementary materials for the lesson. These materials help kinesthetic and visual learners gain more practice. This could be a model, photographs, important labels that help tie the materials together. The SIOP model asks teachers to adapt content to provide students with grade-level materials that are appropriate. Teachers can find books, visuals, videos, games, toys, and other materials. Teachers need to scaffold the content to help students reach the content objective. The last crucial piece of preparation in the SIOP model includes meaningful materials. This means that teachers provide a variety of methods to work with the content. A teacher will provide many opportunities for students to write, speak, and listen to information involving new content. Teachers can set up authentic activities that require students to be actively engaged to understand the material, and offer collaboration activities where students can work together through meaningful discussions. Now that we've discussed the preparation aspect in the SIOP model, let's talk about the instruction aspect. There are 6 categories that are interwoven throughout a lesson. First, teachers must build background to connect prior knowledge to new content. The teacher should connect the content to students' life experiences, prior learning experiences, and key vocabulary through prior assessments. Teachers should include culturally familiar perspectives to help students build background knowledge. Teachers can use closed sentences where students fill in the missing word, or include cognates to help build connections. The second category of instruction is called comprehensible input. This consists of 3 indicators: appropriate speech, techniques to clarify content concepts, and clear explanations of academic tasks. This category is what sets SIOP apart from other sheltered instruction models. An example of comprehensible input would be a teacher asking students to take out a pencil, modeling taking out a pencil, showing a pencil, and praising students for taking out a pencil. This helps students hear the message in a variety of ways. The third category of instruction is called strategies. Students use a variety of learning strategies to practice new vocabulary and the content. This includes higher order thinking skills. Students or teachers will model the strategy to help scaffold students. Teachers might use predicting as a strategy to model and scaffold. They might use visuals paired with new vocabulary. They can use a word wall with new vocabulary paired with images for translating purposes. Teachers can also engage in collaborative groups with students. Interaction is the fourth category of the SIOP model. This category minimizes lecturing and maximizes interaction. This category includes 4 important indicators: discussion and in-depth responses about concepts, sufficient wait time, appropriate groupings, and clarification of lesson material. When students are grouped strategically, they may feel safe to take risks using academic language and stretching their ideas of content. Mixed language group helps students practice these new skills and model language. The 5th category in the instruction aspect of SIOP is practice and application. Students need to have the opportunity to practice with hands-on materials. Students have activities that require them to apply knowledge. They use these activities to use all domains of language. If students can be active participants in real uses of language, they can succeed in learning. Teachers can have students work with a partner in a small group on an activity called the information gap. This requires students to ask each other questions about the material in order to have the students fill in the gap. The 6th category in the instruction aspect of the SIOP is called lesson delivery. The teacher must include 4 indicators to support the students. The 3rd and final category of SIOP is review and assessment. Teachers must review key vocabulary, review content concepts, give ongoing feedback to students, formal and informal assessments toward attaining the content and language objectives. A key element is to clarify and explain misunderstandings. One tool a teacher could use is a learning log. Students can write for themselves and reflect and assess on their own learning. A teacher can review the learning logs in order to gain a better understanding of where students are at in their language and concept development. Teachers can take a few minutes at the end of each lesson to help students summarize, share concepts that were surprising, and encourage students to share connections about the new content. Ultimately, the SIOP model provides the accommodations that are necessary for the differential learning needs of students that are CLD. Teachers can use the model to reflect on their own teaching practices to figure out how they can best meet the needs of their students. The SIOP model helps students achieve success they deserve while acquiring a new language. We highly recommend using the SIOP model of sheltered instruction in your classroom.